I figured I had to do something.
You did. And you did
Right,
it well.
see? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Put that down on the calendar. I did well.
Oh, I love it. Always cracks me up. Facebook Marketplace. People are like trying to overbid,
Right.
to get it. They're like, I'll give you $5 more. I'll pick it up now.
Right.
I love all the skits you see on TikTok and stuff about Facebook Marketplace. Like people come up and say, "Is this still available?" and just walk off again. It's up for $200. I'll give you $5 for it.
Right. That's why I don't use Facebook Marketplace.
Smart.
I don't use Facebook at all now anymore.
Well, I'm not as much as I used to be, but I'm still there. I mean, I have to have an outlet to somewhere.
Oh, you've got an outlet, all right.
Huh?
Okay. See if we're up on the Twitches.
We are.
We are.
Yeah, and look at that.
And we sound good.
And I don't know about that sounding good part, but we do sound.
Well, we are making noise, and you can't understand what it is. So, I mean, there's that.
There is that. All right. Let us start.
Alrighty.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly? I think we're just getting started.
Medic!
I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
He sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to episode 829 of the Overseas Connection podcast. Today is March 30th, 2025. And what was once old is new again. That's right. We'll get into that in a moment. On the show today, my lovely Kim Woods joining us. Kim, how are you?
Howdy. I'm good.
Kim, believe it or not, I was out thrift shopping. And I was over at the old Beyond Retro store. And I happened to find laying in this back part of the store under some old clothing, Mark Wright.
Holy shit!
I know.
Way.
Hello, Greg. Hello, Kim. Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm back.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a reason why I'm back. I got this very strongly worded email this week. I'll read it out. It says, "Dear Mr. Wright, it has come to our attention that the Overseas Connection podcast has been in breach of the Trade Descriptions Act for quite some time now. The alleged complaint is distribution and downloading under false pretenses. It is apparent that the name Overseas Connection has been somewhat of a joke recently, and we hereby give notice that it should either be renamed the US and Top Hat podcast, or that you immediately return to the podcast once again to ensure that the Overseas is connected as described. Yours sincerely, Greg hang on a minute, ... Trading Standards." So apparently it's from Trading Standards, but I think someone else wrote that.
It's possible. It's possible.
Sounds
But
familiar.
Mark, welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome
It's been a
back.
while.
Indeed.
I
You
can't
know,
remember what it was.
my thrift store shopping, that was really difficult for me to say. It was not limited, though, to going to Beyond Retro, a very infamous, famous UK thrift shop, by the way.
You have
just
to go
in
into
case
the back
anybody-
section for this one, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I also perused the old Salvation Army because I thought if any place I could find another podcast member, it would be at the Salvation Army. There's a tie-in there, people. Trust me. And I found Mr. Christopher Matthew on the show.
Hello, everybody. Good to be back. It was kind of Greg to let me back on after such a long hiatus, and due to some rather draconian measures placed upon me by my employer, which have been lifted.
Yeah, well, I mean, you of all the people that have come and gone from the podcast and come back, however you want to look at that, had probably the most legitimate reason for not being able to be on the show. the government telling you, no, sorry, Mr.
Yeah.
Matthew, you're not allowed to be on the show, or you'd have to kill everybody on the show, one of the two.
Right. Yeah, I'd have to hunt you all down, John Wick style, with my bourbon, and
Nice.
and yeah, that's what we do. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Glad to be back.
Now, we very much appreciate you coming back, Mr. Matthew. Apparently, you have been spending the past several years looking for weapons of mass destruction, I believe, in Greenland, as an excuse to invade Greenland.
In Greenland, Iceland, most recently in the UK. I was in the UK. I was not, however, looking for weapons of mass destruction.
Fair.
Just hanging out.
All right. Well, I mean, that's the show, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We're done.
Bye.
I
Great
don't think
times.
it cannot get any better than this
Here
moment
is
right
the-
here.
oh,
Look, if you're tuning in for the first time, we are a video game podcast. I use that term loosely. We talk about life. We talk about stuff. We're going to get into all kinds of topics on the show. But the wrapping, if you will, the wrapper that the show comes in, it's about video games. So we'll get into that. We're going to talk about all that stuff. We do this every Sunday. And I do mean every Sunday. 12 p.m. in the West Coast? The West Coast. I don't know. I did not take drugs today. I promise.
Are you sure?
It's just, I don't think I'm having a stroke at the moment, but if you do see my face start to slide off, let me know. 12 p.m. in the West Coast, 3 p.m. in the East Coast, 2 p.m. somewhere. I don't even want to say Canada anymore because we don't get along with our Canadian friends anymore. They're the enemy. And 8 p.m. in the UK. Welcome back, UK. You're now part of the main world
Yeah.
again.
Our
Welcome
clocks
back.
changed. Well, the whole world's clocks changed last night. It's just you North Americans like to be different.
Again, Mark,
we do.
the U.S. is we wag we're the tail wagging the dog, right? That's how it goes. Something like that. I don't know.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. So join us live. You can be part of the chat. If you're not on YouTube, you're not on Twitch, we will put together an audio version of this podcast. And this reveal will be far more exciting because, cameras, they kind of spoil things. All right. We do have a couple birthdays.
Mhm.
Now, I traditionally have been the birthday announcer, but I like to delegate. Much like our president, I delegate things. So I think for today, we shall delegate this to Mark. Mark, you
All
are
right.
in charge of birthday announcements. Bring the gusto, Mark. Bring the excitement.
Well, am I allowed to mention the first one? Because you said you don't like Canada anymore.
I know, right?
He's
Greg
like,
doesn't.
He's an ex-host on this show as well.
I know. Well,
Greg doesn't
again,
speak for all of us, Mark. Some of
Yes.
us like Canada very much.
this is true.
Well,
I
I
still like
like
Canada.
this guy. Yeah, I like this guy.
He's
So
okay.
The first birthday is Fraser Moores of Canada, originally from the UK, and his is on March the 30th. And we have Brian Hamilton, which is also known as Rain God Zippo on the gaming tags, and his is on April the 3rd. So happy birthday, guys.
Yeah, far more than anybody else has gotten recently. Yeah, happy birthday, gentlemen. I believe retirement age for both, for the record. I'm just throwing it out there. Fraser, you are old, my Canadian friend. You are old. Just give in to our tariffs and we'll be nice again. That's all I'm saying. Okay, that's enough. That's as far as political as we're going to get. I promise.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
Okay. Really, that's it. I'm done. I promise. Let's talk about some stories.
Okay.
Everyone here loves story time, our favorite time of the day.
Okay. So clearly we have some catching up to do, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
Not between ourselves, though.
Obviously not, no.
Obviously, I'm going to start with the farthest gone. Not mentally, just time-wise. Mr. Matthew.
I was wondering where you're going there because some days I'm pretty far gone, but I think I can hold it together. All right, story time. How far back do you want me to go? Jeez.
I'm going to say it's going to be a long show.
Yeah, I was going to say, we do have to keep this under at least 2 hours. So maybe
so-
highlight some things.
Yeah. All right. So So very recently, my family and I just got back from a week-long trip in the UK. My kids are teenagers now. It's been a goal of mine for some time to travel overseas with them, and this was the first one. So we thought, if we're gonna go, let's go where we speak the language, and we had at least some facsimile of the language, as most of them will tell you. But we had a grand time. We spent a couple days in London. Took
Did
a
you
train
survive?
Up. We survived.
Yeah.
We survived.
I refuse to go to London. It's a shithole.
It's good touristy still.
So that's it, right? So I live very close to New York City, which is its very own version of a cesspool, and they're probably going to come for me for saying that. But
I think
London,
even the farthest left are now saying that, Mr. Matthew. I think you're okay. Everybody acknowledges it.
New York City has a lot of great things going on for it, but it always smells bad. But London, at least you can get it far enough away from the river that it doesn't smell so bad anymore. We spent a couple days up in Scotland, mostly in Edinburgh, which I'm sure I said wrong. I'm sorry. No. I don't have a Scottish accent. It was a lovely trip. We want to go back. And then let's see. We have an annual event here where I live. I live in New York, where a local charity hosts a sort of a fake casino night.
Okay.
You play casino games, but you're not gambling for real money. You buy chips, and then the chips are used for winning raffles. So it's not real gambling, but it's raising money for high school scholarships and stuff. Okay. But it's a big ritzy affair. Everybody gets dressed up. They hire a DJ. It's a great time.
Nice. Did you win?
And John, I did win some, and then I lost more. So
what was your game of choice?
So at this night, I like to play craps. I don't know if anybody else is into craps, but a good craps table, win or lose, if you got a full table of people that are excited and energetic, it's just a lot of fun. Like, I don't mind spending some money just playing craps. To me, I just call it entertainment. Instead of going to watch a movie, I'm going to play craps. It's just fun.
No.
Yeah. What else? So the summary of the long intervening years. Let's see. When last we met, we were living in North Carolina. We moved from North Carolina to Virginia. I think maybe I was on the show once in Virginia. Doesn't really matter. We've since moved back to New York, and so we're currently making our home here in upstate New York. We'll be here for a few more years yet. So thankfully Mark's back. We didn't have to rename the show, but I thought with me being in New York and Greg being in California,
the coast to coast connection,
but it doesn't quite have the same ring to it as the overseas connection. So I'm still in the military, still in Uncle Sam's Army, but I changed jobs, and so there's less restrictions on my contacts overseas, and so I'm able to come back and have a little more online presence. I'm teaching now. I'm teaching physics.
Okay.
So it's there's nothing new in classical physics, right? It's all 400-year-old physics.
Now, Chris, when you and I first met, we actually met. You came out to the Bay Area, but I want to say, weren't you out in Kansas for a little while?
So yeah,
okay.
When I first started joining the show, I was in Kansas. I was at Kansas State University studying, and I actually came to the Bay Area because there was a company there that was building a piece of equipment for my lab, and they were way behind on building it. And so
shocking.
They said, yeah. And their reason for being way behind was one of their employees had left unexpectedly. And so my research advisor was like, well, I've got this young Army officer / grad student who would just love to come help you. And so he sent me out there for a couple of months to help him out. And it was a great trip. We got to hang out, drink some beers together. It was a good old time. So I have been back to California once since. I went to visit the House of the Mouse.
That was probably a lot. Yeah. House of the Mouse is fun.
We're Disney nerds. Disney nerds. It'll take a whole other show for me to tell you all about all the Disney things that we love to do. We'll just
That's
put
fair.
it out. We love Disney.
I will say this: Disney World trumps Disneyland considerably.
Ooh, that got intense for a second. I will say that Disneyland has much more of a neighborhood amusement park feel.
Yeah.
We took our kids to Disneyland at I think just the right time. They were 5 and 7 or 3 and 5. Doesn't matter. They were still at the age where they kind of still believed in the magic, and they were really into the Cars movies. So go into the Radiator Springs area at Disney California Adventure. They just really ate that up, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. In fact, Radiator Springs is still my most favorite ride in terms of rides I can take Colin on. Love that. Love that ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fun fact that there is the I think it's called Test Drive in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
That's the original premise for Radiator Springs. There we go.
Same technology.
Yeah.
Radiator Springs, much cooler. The test track is just a commercial for General Motors.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Mr. Matthew, I do see, and we have to address this issue. John Wick, just now?
So I'm late to the show. I admit it, or late to the party. I watched the first John Wick on the flight back from the UK, and I was just enthralled by the world of it. I thought if they were going to make a good Assassin's Creed movie, this is it.
Yeah,
like this is it. It kind of hints at this underworld, and then you kind of slowly go deeper and deeper and deeper into it. It's very visual, very action. There's not a lot of dialogue. I thought this would actually be like a good Assassin's Creed movie / modern setting Assassin's Creed game. So yeah, I finished the 4 movies in about a week's time, and looking forward to. I think there's number 5 coming. So yeah,
Ballerina.
Ballerina, yeah. It's set between 3 and 4 because there's no spoilers, but it's something happens in 4, but.
Well, which actually that is a little bit of a spoiler for me. In this, I've seen all 4 movies, but watching the trailer for Ballerina last night, as a matter of fact, you see a cameo from Keanu Reeves, and I'm like, oh, could this be?
I had to look that up. What the timeline was?
Yeah. So okay, all right.
So
I thought they might have done a movie with in 4 there's the Japanese guy with his daughter.
Yeah.
I thought they might have done a movie with her, but it's not. It's the character's played by Ana de Armas, which I'm not complaining about because she's nice to look at. So,
I mean, let's look. It's a 2-year-old movie, right? We don't have to be too protective of spoilers.
That's true.
But I thought. I will say as spoiler free as I can. The ending of John Wick 4 left room for a John Wick 5.
Yes.
I'll say that.
Yes.
All may not be.
And that's what surprised me, that Ballerina was the next John Wick universe movie. And I will also say this though, calling it because I think they say Ballerina from the universe of John Wick or something like that. So the tagline, I'm like, I don't know, that the John Wick universe sounds weird to me. So it's not like Marvel, right? Or DC, but maybe it is. I don't know.
It's not going to be the same without Lance Reddick as well, being at the Continental Hotel, because he was so good in that.
Although ironically, he is in Ballerina.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in the trailer, so yeah.
I wonder how they're doing it. Are they doing CGI, or was this just something they filmed and then reconstituted? I don't know. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Matthew, before we move on to others?
Oh, I think that about captures it. I mean,
okay.
There's 10, 12 years worth of story time that we could just have a whole show about. But
we will have plenty of shows to pull all of that in.
There we go.
All right. That leaves us to the least oldest, newest, Mark Wright. Mark, how have you been, sir?
Yeah, pretty good. Really busy at work. Super busy at work. That's one of the reasons why I've not been on a lot, because my weekend time's been so valuable to me. Just winding down. Like tonight, I was thinking, I could just nod off now and have a kip. I was like, no, I've got to go on the podcast again now. But yeah, just super busy. For a small little independent garage, we're fully booked for 3 or 4 weeks in front, and we have been ever since I started there 4 years ago. So that's a good thing, because it keeps me in a job. But yeah, absolutely chocked out at work. Seen a few things on the old TVs.
Okay.
We watched Silo season 2. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I'm not familiar with Silo. What's the premise?
So Silo is like a post-apocalyptic TV series where it's a bit like Fallout.
Okay.
They're all in. It's like a bunker, but it's a silo, and it's like a spiral column, and there's different floors on it, and there's a hierarchy and everything, and judicial, and there's a lot of sort of like conspiracy and intrigue, and there's the maintenance guys right in the bottom of it, and then you've got the sort of like the leaders right at the top, and if you do something wrong, or if you say you want to go outside, then you put in a suit and you are told to go outside, and then everyone sees you on this TV screen and they ask you to clean. So there's like a camera, and this only gets cleaned when someone goes out so people can see again. And it's a barren landscape, and then within like a minute, the person drops dead.
So there's like extreme radiation or something that's outside?
Yeah, so there's something causing it, yeah. But season 2 elaborates on it more, and it opens up, and it's really interesting. I won't give any spoilers because it's quite new.
Okay, so real quick, just based on this premise. So you're tasked with putting on the suit as punishment to go out and clean the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, at the minute I'm out that door,
well,
I don't think I'm cleaning the camera.
No, not everyone cleans, but most people do clean. But obviously, there's a lot more to it. But
okay.
The main premise is finding the truth behind the silos and what stuff means.
Okay.
And people who do find out the truth don't seem to last very long for some reason.
Typical.
So yeah, there's a lot of like conspiracy theories and stuff. So yeah, it's really interesting.
Okay.
That's on Apple TV, I believe.
Okay.
I watched it by other nefarious means. And the other one I've watched, and I know you've watched this recently, Greg, Reacher season 3 has just been on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Season 2 was okay. It wasn't as good as season 1. I really enjoyed season 1. But season 3, I thought, picked up a little bit again. And just like you, Greg, when you mentioned the first episode, you're thinking, this isn't Reacher, this isn't what he does. And it gets you, doesn't it? You're thinking, what the hell's this writing? Who's made this? And then halfway through, you think, oh, that's why he did that. That's what this is all about. Yeah, very clever. Really pulled you in and thinking, what's going on here? But yeah, really enjoyed it. I loved the Paulie character.
Yeah.
And I've seen that guy who plays him with Eddie Hall. Do you know who Eddie Hall is?
Yeah.
The Strongest Man.
Yeah.
It's him and Eddie Hall are going around they'll just go and stand next to this random dude who's eating a sandwich, and then we'll go, target's been protected now, whatever. So we have like funny cards, and guys like eating sandwich thinking, what the fuck? So yeah, really funny guys. But yeah, really good series. A lot of action. I think everyone says his acting's crap, but he's supposed to be like that. That's the character. I've seen Alan Richardson, whatever his name is, in a few other things. I loved him in Titans as Hawk.
Yeah.
And he's not a crap actor. He's not dumb, but it's just for character. It just looks like dead behind the eye sort of thing when he's talking, doesn't he?
Yeah, I struggle with his character in the series, and it's because I don't know. It's almost like he has like a form of autism.
Yeah.
And so he's so unrelatable from just like a human emotion standpoint. It is off, and I don't think they've ever explained why he is that way.
No.
But I mean, honestly, if you just gave me that character's how he reacts to other people, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, he has a touch of autism for sure.
And one of the best lines in the whole 3 seasons is Neely, when that guy's bleeding out on the floor, and he says, "Oh, call me an ambulance," and she goes, "You're an ambulance." So I thought that was one of the best lines ever.
Have either two of you watched Reacher?
Not yet, but I need to, obviously.
Okay. I'll be
So
curious. Yeah.
I saw. So here's where I know I recognize with fiction sometimes you have to suspend disbelief, but I saw this really weird snippet from Reacher where he's sitting in what's meant to be like the officers' club wherever they are, and some other officer wanders over because he's got a staff sergeant with him, and he's like, she has to leave, and then there's like a bar fight. It's like, this would never happen. You take NCOs with you to the officers club all the time. It's part of thickening the network. And then I was just like, I'm not going to watch this show. It's going to make me mad.
Yeah, I definitely can understand, especially somebody that's been in service or currently in service. You're going to scrutinize a lot of what happens in this show. May not be for you. I'm just laying that out there now. I will say this. I still am a little tainted by Tom Cruise's version of Reacher. Because I thought he played a really good Reacher character that wasn't touched by autism. His only downfall was the fact that he is short.
Yeah, like
that's
5'4".
But anyway, all right. Anything else, Mark?
So my PC, I've had it 18 months now, and I've always had a little tiny bit of buyer's remorse with the graphics card I picked. It does the job perfectly well. I've not had any issues with it really. But I went a bit underpowered on it. It was only an 8GB model for 4060 Ti, and I've just been itching to get a better graphics card for a while now. And I've waited for the 50 series to come out, and they are extortionate money. And apparently they're not that much improvement on the 40 series. So the 5070 I was looking at isn't much better than a 4080, and the 5070 is 1,500 quid. But then AMD have just recently, a couple of weeks ago, released their flagship cards, which is the RX 9070 XT, which competes with it. Yeah,
welcome to Team Red.
It competes with the 5070 Ti's, and they start around £660 up to about £900. The card I'm looking at is 680 quid. It's the AMD Sapphire Pure, the 9070 XT. It's a 16GB card, and it's got really good reviews on performance stats, and they're easy to overclock and undervolt, which gives them a bit of a boost. I don't know if I'll need to do that, but yeah. That'll probably future-proof my PC for quite a few years then.
Okay, first of all, I'm just going to say liar.
What?
Because, I mean, let's be honest. Yeah. There's no such thing as future-proofing your PC because...
I said future-proof for a few years. I didn't
say but again, you're 18 months in and you're going to be like 6 months after you put your new card in, you're going to be like... Oh, look at that new car. Oh, all those gigabytes. Oh. So
but you're missing, half the fun is building and upgrading. Like it's like expensive Lego that can shock you.
Yes.
Yeah. I couldn't even tell you how old my PC is. It's years old. So
that's because you forgot about it. You bought a Steam Deck and you forgot you even had it.
I forgot I had a Steam Deck. Mark, last question. Where are you going on holiday?
So we've booked our holiday for this year. We're going end of June. Going somewhere we've never been before. We like to go to different parts of the UK we haven't been before. We have to stick to the UK now because Jenny can't fly for illnesses and stuff. So we have to stay within the UK, which has been fine. We've had some good holidays. So this year we're going to the northeast, which is between where we are now and Scotland. It's halfway between here and Scotland, and in a place called Northumberland. I don't know if you've heard about it, Chris. And we're going on the northeast coast called Tynemouth. It's not far from Newcastle, near Redcar and South Shields. But never been before. Gets really good reviews. Apparently it's listed as number 2 holiday destination in the UK. So I've managed to find a really nice big hotel right on the seafront opposite the castle on the coastline. It's got a lift and everything for Jenny because she can't do the stairs anymore. So yeah, got all that booked and looking forward to going now. It's not that far away, really, is it? June. End of June.
No, it is rapidly approaching.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy that.
I was just looking at the photos. That looks amazing. We really only saw London, Edinburgh, and we went up. We took a van tour into the Highlands and saw the three big locks.
Yeah.
The UK's got a lot to see, and I told my family, I was like, we should come back. Like, there's so much we didn't see.
Oh yeah.
But that looks like an awesome place, Mark. I hope you have fun.
Jenny won't go to Scotland again. The last time we went to Scotland, God, Danny and Jay were about, I think we were about 9 and 12. And we went on like a May bank holiday. So it was Jason's birthday weekend. So God, how long ago? It's got to be 20 years ago. And we went in a log cabin at Fort William, which is a beautiful place. Can't remember the area now. It's not, I don't know where it's near. It's a bit further up from Glencoe, and it's not too far from Ben Nevis area, because we visited Ben Nevis for a day. Anyway, so day 2 we're visiting a place in, I can't remember the name of the place now, but it's where you get the ferry to Isle of Skye. And Jenny fell ill, and we ended up having to get her an ambulance. And she went to the local hospital and then transferred to the hospital at Fort William. And she was in the hospital the whole week we were there. She had a blood clot on her lung.
Oof.
So she refuses to go to Scotland. She blames Scotland. I don't know why. It was her body. Scotland's air is lovely and clean, but yeah, she will not go to Scotland again. And I'd love to go back to Scotland, so we thought it was amazing. Yeah. We woke up one morning in the log cabin, and there was this massive stag just stood there right in front of the log cabin. Oh, absolutely amazing place.
Yeah. All I will say to you, Mr. Matthew,
amazing.
If you do go back to the UK, just be careful who you select to give you tours. Because my Ireland tour, my Northern Ireland tour, which was turned into a Game of Thrones themed tour, amounted to me looking through fences to get a view of Game of Thrones sets.
All right.
And then I was taken on a tour of London, and we were going to do the Jack the Ripper tour that turned into a self-guided tour by Mike Chin, which actually might have been more entertaining than the actual Jack the Ripper tour.
I think that probably would have been better. Yeah. I imagine Mike Chen would be an excellent tour guide if you can see over him.
Yeah.
Right. So he
true.
can see
he is a
into
tall
lot
man.
Of things
he is a tall man
that you can't. And he's like, you can't see that. Well, no, Mike, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had Pete with it as well. Pete also very tall. I've never felt so short in my life. And not to disparage Robin. Robin was very good with his tour. And we got in a lot. But it was kind of funny when we got to the Game of Thrones stuff. It was look through that fence and over. You could just see it over the top of that fence. So, and that was because all the production had shut down. But anyway, okay, real fast. Lord in the chat, recognizing the significance of not only our 2 oldest, newest members of the podcast, but also that we have 4 people on the show this week.
Yep.
I threatened tariffs on everybody. And so the tariffs work, people. I'm telling you now. All right. I said I wasn't going to get political. And
I was going to be here anyway. So, yeah.
Kim, speaking of you, what's been going on with you?
Actually for me, and this isn't really a surprise, it's been fairly quiet here. Spring's here, so, weather's warming up and all that. And of course, spring storms. So, of course, that means after I picked up all the limbs there, it's been a week or 2 ago, I have more limbs to pick up, which fine, whatever. It is what it is. I'll take it over the, with the warm weather. It works. Other than that, like I said, it's been fairly quiet. I'm finally going to go get a haircut this week, so thank God for that. I feel like I'm a hobo out on the street or something.
Half this podcast is looking at your hair lovingly, longingly, like yesterday.
I know, right?
All my hair was in place.
Sorry. Right. But yeah.
It was long before yesterday. It was long before yesterday.
Right. So other than that, it's been good here. So what about you?
Well, where to start? I will start with I'll start with the backside of leaking.
Okay.
Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday. I don't know. I don't remember what day it was. I'm in the bathroom using our sink, and I hear just an odd trickling sound. Now, I had turned the faucet on, but it was one of those sounds you're like, something's not quite right, but I couldn't really place it and turn it off. And I'm like, whatever. Took my shower, came out, and left, went to Costco, did some shopping. And in the course of my Costco shopping, I'm going to get there. I'm going to land the plane. Trust me. I bought a bunch of body wash that we place under the sink. And so I opened up the underside of the sink, and I go to put the body wash in there, and suddenly I'm looking around. I'm like, there's water everywhere. So drag everything out, mop up the water. Looking around, I'm like, oh, great. This looks like it's been going on for a little bit. I don't know how long, but I discovered the spout of our faucet, because I kept saying faucet to the people at Pfister, which is the company that makes the sink faucet for my, and the faucet is the entire thing, the handles and the spout. So I had to explain to them the spout was leaking. They're going to send us a new one. They have a lifetime guarantee on it, which is nice, but I'll still have to pay somebody to put it in. I will not put in a sink faucet. I've done it once. I absolutely hated it. There's like a finite
nut on, isn't it?
Well, where they put the faucets, there's like a finite amount of room between the basin of the sink and the wall, and you got to be able to get your stupid fingers up in there to tighten bolts down and get everything set. Not doing it.
I've seen this company, just to sidetrack you a bit. This company has released one where you actually it has like a clamping mechanism, and there's a screw what goes in from the top, and as you screw it, it clamps it from the bottom. So you can just slot it through the hole, screw it from the top, and it clamps it. Not after you don't have to mess about underneath with the nuts or anything. Brilliant idea. Why more companies don't do it, I don't know.
You'd think.
Sorry, carry on.
but then the plumbers would be out of work. So
yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
But anyway, so that is that was the drama for the week, so to speak. The other thing is that my last days of my job happened. I wrapped up working on Tuesday. I'll start my new job this coming week on Tuesday, so I'm not really taking any time off. But old company's done, new company coming in. I'm pretty excited. I had some good conversations with some of the other people at the new company, and was able to actually close a couple deals on my way out with the old company, which is always just kind of a nice thing. So a little trickle of money down the road, a couple of months down the road. Couple shows I want to talk about. Daredevil Born Again on not on Netflix, on Disney.
Is it out now?
It is.
Oh.
Yep. Complete season's out. It is a bit of a cliffhanger. It has room to go. Let's just put it that way. Loved it. Really good.
It's got Wilson Fisk back in it, hasn't it?
Magically, Wilson Fisk, after being shot through the eye, somehow manages to come back. That was one of those disbelief moments, right? Suspend the disbelief. He's back. But I very much enjoyed Daredevil Born Again. Thank God Disney didn't fuck this up. They let them make Daredevil. So it has all of the aggression and violence that we had in the previous Daredevil seasons. And I really like the way they kind of brought him back into being Daredevil, because this is basically, his story about kind of becoming Daredevil again and the motivation to become Daredevil again. So they did a really good job with that. Highly recommend it. The other thing I highly recommend, went and saw the movie Novocaine last night.
The trailer looks insane.
So if you're not familiar with Novocaine, and I forgot the actor's name,
Quaid. Is it no? Oh, Dennis Quaid's son, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is Dennis Quaid's son.
Is it Jake or someone? He's in The Boys.
Yes, he's in The Boys. That's the
Huey in The Boys.
Yes, yeah. Huey from The Boys. If you know that, you will know him. I will not ruin any premise other than he plays a character that doesn't feel pain.
Yeah.
It is fantastic. I will say this. It does have a little bit of a build-up. And so it is a little bit slower paced at first. they're laying the groundwork, but they lay it out perfectly. So just hang in there. I know some people will be like, "Oh my God, the beginning of it, I was too boring." Blah blah blah. No, it is perfectly setting up and setting the plate for the rest of the movie. Really, really good, fun. Laughed a ton. So it retains a lot of that good comedy that you come to expect from his character Huey in The Boys. Very similar vibes in Novocaine.
Right.
Not for the faint of heart. There is a lot of gore, some pretty horrific moments, but it's good. It's really good. So highly recommend it. And my wife, who does not typically like gore, loved it. So there you go.
I've got another TV recommendation for people. It's not newish now. It's quite. In fact, season 3's just been released. Because I've been off the show that long. I've seen quite a lot of stuff. Gangs of London. I think I put it in the chat a while ago. So seasons 1 and 2, Gangs of London, absolutely superb, really good. That's got a lot of violence and that. So if you like your gangster movies and like anti-hero stuff, yeah, really, really good series. Seasons 1 and 2 is on Netflix, but it's actually a Sky show. So season 3 is on Sky at the moment. It's not on Netflix at the moment. I highly recommend that. One of the main characters in it is one of the guys out of Peaky Blinders. I don't know if you've seen that.
I watched the first season of Peaky Blinders.
Did you not like it?
It was okay. Wasn't my favorite.
That picks up seasons 2 and 3. Yeah, I love Peaky Blinders.
Okay, all right. Okay. Well, I think that does it for story time. We do, however, have some community questions, Kim, from the Discord. These are literally questions from the future right now.
Holy moly! Yep, that they are.
Oh wait, before we get into the Discord, real fast, a quick. We're gonna do an on-air review. So my wife came home with this. It is a Monster white pineapple.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now this also apparently expired in 2023. So
I don't know what it is with energy drinks, but if I drink a can of Monster, it puts me to sleep. I don't know why. And I've heard
you might have an issue, Mark.
No, it affects certain amount of people who have got ADHD, and I never knew I had ADHD. But apparently, it can affect certain people and makes them drowsy. Okay. So yeah, energy drink. Everyone else in the world makes them perky and keeps them awake while they're at work. Me puts me to sleep. So,
well, this definitely made me feel perky.
Well,
it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's not bad. It's got a good pineapple flavor. It's not horrible. It's not over the top super strong either. So pleasantly surprised. White pineapple. Who would have thunk? Okay. To the future, Kim.
The minutes off of your life.
Discord. I know. They're just shaving them right off.
Alrighty. Discord questions?
Yes, please.
Alrighty. Discord questions. We have 3 from 3 different people. So here we go. Parsnip Knows posted a question, more or less. Well, there is a question in here somewhere, but it's a little lengthy one. It says, I just came here to say I love you all. Aw, thanks, Parsnip. Can you believe this year it'll be 20 years since Xbox 360 launched? Yes, I can. What wonderful times we had. What's your one lasting memory of the 360 fun? I can't decide between the COD sessions we had, Friday Night Racing, or the Minecraft server we all took turns hosting. Yes, Greg, I know. You hated Minecraft.
Still do.
So do I. That's why we're friends.
So it's funny. Based on our newest guests hosts on the show, I also kind of had a retro look, and that's some foreshadowing, by the way, for our upcoming quiz. And I was like, just thinking back, I think for me, it was Gears of War.
Yeah.
Just online sessions with friends in the 360 days with Gears of War. It was life-changing in some respects because, that's really where I started building friendships with people online, which to that point I had never really thought would be possible.
Right.
But yeah, I think Gears of War was my go-to and fondest memory of just sitting up playing to all god hours of night. Also was single, no family, no kids, living the life.
I remember the Couchmarks community was pretty into Gears of War. They played
and
that a lot.
Halo as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Halo.
Yeah. What about you, Mr.
Yeah.
Matthew? What was your fondest 360 memory?
My goodness, there's too many. There's too many. First of all, I have to say just how tickled I was when Parsnip's name popped up in the Discord chat. I feel like we haven't spoken in ages, and I always enjoyed having gaming sessions with Parsnip. And so I immediately we used to have a regular Thursday night Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2 session.
Yes.
And that was specifically to go through all of the various co-op missions. There were 8 or 10 of them that you could play, and it seemed like it was no limit on the number of players, or maybe it was more people, more friends than we all had. But we would end up with 8 or 10 people going through those missions, and it was fun and chaotic. Even though we were playing against the computers, somebody would always do something foolish, and everything would go haywire. But there were so many. The Friday night racing. I came into the Minecraft server very late. I think Mark invited me, and I logged in, and there was nobody else there. And so that was my one and only visit. I did see some amazing creations by all of you in the Minecraft server, but it was I left some signs all over the place. I don't know if anybody ever read them. But yeah, the 360. I feel like that late 20-aughts was just was quite. Maybe it's because it was when these communities were all coming together, but it was quite a time in gaming. You had the Gears of War, you had Halo 3, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare. List goes on.
Oh yeah, God, Ghost Recon. I now totally remember those crazy. We would have, because it was kind of like a firefight session, right? Just waves and waves of enemy, and I don't remember. I think it was basically you could revive people that were down, but I don't remember if it was a certain amount of revives, and then they were done.
Yes.
And so it was like a diminishing returns thing. But I remember we would set up like these kill choke points.
Yep.
And you're just pouring lead into these choke points, just trying to take out as many as possible. And then inevitably, like you said, something would go wrong. Somebody would fall, and then it was just dominoes.
Yeah. Or
It used to crash a lot, if I remember rightly, as well, didn't
it? Would
it
would kick people out.
Yeah.
I remember one of the longer ones. There was one where you had to defend for an hour, just defend for an hour, and Yoda the Third, moment of silence for Josh Hirschman. We were near the end, and his ADHD, the intrusive thoughts won, and he just went Leroy Jenkins and crashed the whole thing, and we're like, God damn it, Yoda! But we came back and tried again, and we won.
I'll never forget. He once joined our Friday night racing. Where we used to be all serious, and he was going around the wrong way around to the oval track.
Yeah.
He would just bring a little chaos.
Yeah, loads of fun to have around, but loony.
Oh my gosh, Mark, what about you?
I can't believe it's 20 years. Like, I remember joining VO35s when I was 35, and I'm 55 this year. 20 years, man. Jesus, so many memories. So many good gaming sessions. I remember when I first joined the other 35s before it came G4TE, my first online gaming session with all the guys on there was PGR3. That's how long ago that was. And we did the motorbikes and the car racing. That was so much fun. The COD 4 launch, that was a memorable moment. We all jumped on Call of Duty, and everyone played the hell out of Call of Duty 4 and Headquarters and Shipment. The Grow 2 nights, my favorite overall was the Rainbow Six Vegas 2 nights. They were hilarious. And one in particular thing, what stands out all the time is Thupa, and he get always mixed up with the grenade button, because on all the other games, the red button, I can't remember what it is, I haven't used the controller for a while, the red button is crouch. On Vegas 2, it was grenade, and the amount of times we got killed by a grenade from Thupa was just unreal, and it became a bit of a standing joke.
You wonder at some point, was he just tossing it to toss it?
Yeah. Remember the Xbox 360 Vision camera? Remember that?
Oh
thing?
yeah.
you could
Yeah.
put your face on your character in the game. And I've still got it. It's over there. I've got a Chucky doll, right, with a little knife. And I scanned that face and put it on my character. And I remember it scared the shit out of Duke Scaff when he first joined our game. Yeah, so many good memories. The Minecraft server, me and Parsnip used to take it in turns hosting that on a spare 360 we left running permanently in our homes. And that used to crash all the time because it was like new and everything.
By the way, that is my new plan for Skype. I'm just going to let it run. I'm never going to shut it off, so we'll never have to worry.
Yeah.
Like the Halo 2 servers.
Yes.
Just keep playing.
Yeah. I remember Chinny built this massive statue and this building. And then he went offline, and then me and David the Alien built this massive fuck-off football pitch right in front of his building. And he came back on the next day and went, "Who built this fucking football pitch on my front garden?" It was just hilarious. So much fun. We built a roller coaster. It was just everyone was so good on that. It's just amazing. I've still got the video somewhere online.
Yeah, that was one reason why I could not play
YouTube
Minecraft.
channel.
By the way, there was no creativeness in my.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, and then Friday Night Racing. That was Parsnip's baby. We had so much fun with Friday Night Racing. It was so good. And then I think when Parsnip was sort of like had to give it up for a bit because obviously he was leaving the US and coming back to the UK with his issues he had over there. Remember a guy called Betty Bear? Who used to do the Friday Night Racing? Yeah, he started doing Sunday morning racing. So I used to get up at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning to race with the guys, and we used to have championships. So we carried that on for a bit on Sunday mornings, and then that eventually fizzled out. But yeah, so much fun on the old Forza games. Yeah.
Okay.
There's many more, but yeah, those are the main highlights. Oh, and the Kim's thing, Fable 2, the baby saga. So having Parsnip's baby and then someone else getting pregnant and then it's just so much fun.
Not to steal a line from you, Mark, but that was a funny line you posted in the WhatsApp group of, yes, I was once trapped in a female's body until I was born.
Yeah. I was a man born in a female's body.
Yeah.
And then I was born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kim, what about you?
And
then you can lead us in.
I've got a joke for Chris as well.
Uh-oh.
What do you call a soldier with no legs?
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
Army.
Army. Yeah. Armed and dangerous. I like it.
Oh, why?
Kim, please take us home. Give us your favorite 360 moments, and then from there, the next comment.
Okay. All right. My favorite three, like you said, Gears for sure. I mean, especially when Gears 3 came out. I mean, we played, Horde mode for freaking ever. And I loved it. I cackled like a loon every time a fucking Lambert Berserker would chase my ass around the map. It was just, although it got bad enough that I would have nightmares about that shit in real life. So I don't know. Maybe I needed therapy. I don't know. And Call of Duty, because that was, like I said, was it Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2? One of them had come out. And that was like my first time ever playing multiplayer with a bunch of people. And I kid you not, I was nervous as hell. I mean, I was actually sweating because I was worried you guys were going to think I was terrible and never want to play multiplayer games with me again. So obviously that didn't happen because here I'm sitting and all you guys, I consider you all friends, family, whatever. And so that's probably, it's good for me.
All right. Good memories.
Yeah.
Great question.
I mean, I never
Good
got
memories.
onto the Fable 2 baby thing, although I did have an orgy once in Fable 2, but I don't remember it. But I remember when Fable 2 came out, they remember at the bottom, I think when you went in to change your outfit, they had a deal and they kept tally of like who you slept with and what you did and that sort of thing. And I remember one day it popped up how many STDs you had. And I remember one day it popped up and it said, you were in one orgy. And I'm like, really? I don't fucking remember that. And that's when I started to think maybe I need to back off Fable 2 because if I started where I couldn't remember the orgies I was in, then maybe it was time to quit.
Maybe also the shrooms, Kim. Maybe also time to back off the shrooms.
Right. So, yeah. So that was my 360. Other than actually winning a 360 and then, like I said, meeting all you wonderful people. So, there you go. That's the sappy moment of the day.
Okay. All right. Real fast. Fun, sad story. So when I went to E3 my first time, I was with Steve Conger. We went to E3 and we decided to get there the day of the actual show opening and not bother going to any of the press conferences. Because we weren't credentialed technically and we weren't sure we'd be able to get in. And so we thought, we'll just go to the show floor instead. That was the show that Microsoft gave away 360s to everybody in the audience. They basically had under your seat, you had a tag. And it was, never forget that.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Anyway. All right. Continue on, Kim.
All right, next question from Robin of all people. How many whiskey sours will Robin have in Dublin this evening? Current tally is, 5.3 to 3? I guess whatever that weird math is. So
yeah, I'm not sure about that math.
At 5:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, whiskey sours, I think he could go 10. Because whiskey sours are not, yes, there's whiskey, but the sour part of it really dilutes the whiskey.
It's more sour.
Yeah. I feel like 10 is an appropriate number for Robin. I've seen the man drink. As much as he tries to claim he's a lightweight, he is not.
Gotcha. All right. Well, there you go. 10. Yeah, Sounds like a good number to me.
On the over for sure.
It's a good round number, 10. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. All right, last question. And technically, this is for CP Matthew. So here we go. And it's from Mark, of all people. What is with CP and the moose emoji?
So Mark asked. Yeah. Okay. Well, why don't you tell us what this is, Kim?
Well, go ahead. No, it's your story. So
sorry. Right. It's not a great story, to be fair. To be honest,
nothing to do with the Rocky Bullwinkle show, for the record.
Nothing to do with the Rocky and Bullwinkle show or any of that. Yeah.
You're Canadian.
Probably something 10, 15, well, it's 15 years ago or so. One of the guys I work with just started calling me Moose, and I was like, what the F, man? Like, where does this come from? And he says, well, my spouse says that you look like your name should be Moose, and so I'm calling you Moose. And I'm like, all right, I guess, you got to do what you got to do. But then the guy that shared his office started calling me Moose, and then the people next to them and it just became a thing. And I kind of fought it for a while, and then I was like, you know what? It's just going to be a thing. I'm just going to embrace it. We have moose paraphernalia all over our house. I have a little sticker that's got a moose on it that I kind of leave around things to let people know I've been there. It's just funny. I'm from Florida. There's no moose in Florida.
I did not know you're from Florida. That's a fun fact.
At least not any moose that want to be in Florida are in Florida. So, that's just it. And I just kind of owned it. In life, you don't get to pick your nicknames, right?
This is true.
Friends give you your nicknames. Yeah. And so I was like, as nicknames go, that one's not bad. So I'm just gonna hug it tight and keep it. And so now I use that emoji because that's kind of my, I was there, right? You don't have to look through to see, who was the like or who was the heart. Oh, that's a moose. That was Chris. We know that was Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until all the rest of you start using it.
I was all on board with tank top up until the UK boys are like calling it vests. And I'm like, that just, vest has a very not good sound to it.
Right.
Yeah, anyway. Tank top is a sweater, right? Because it's
in the UK it's
yeah, because if you look at the British tank crews, they wear like a sleeveless sweater, so that's why they call it a tank top. Army fact for you.
Fun fact. Okay. All right. Well, we know the origins of moose. We know Greg doesn't like tank top because of vests. We also need to know, Kim, about the games. Well, so we don't really have any games to announce yet, do we? It's all still really. March.
Yeah.
So you know what? We're gonna pass on that.
Alrighty.
We're just gonna pass on that. We're gonna dive right into.
Today I feel like playing computer games. Today I feel like playing computer games.
Okay. So now we're going to get into what we've been playing. Kim, we're going to start with you. Yeah. Amazingly, shockingly, you have been playing the same game.
I know, right? Yeah.
Kim's Pawn Quest.
Hey, you know what? You admitted you liked my TikToks, so
yeah.
Just for you, I have Astarion up on screen. Just
Good for you.
yeah.
All right. Anyway, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. I'm still finishing off my first run, which right now I'm actually at Baldur's Gate and doing all that, which means I did Astarion's quest this week and finished it. And I got further on Gale's quest, and I'm like, Pookie, you can't have the fucking crown, so shut up. But anyway, so I did that. And of course, me being me, and I'm still not over this game, I started a second run to catch things that I missed on my first run. And I'm actually doing that without mods. And I'm not doing too bad.
Okay.
I have not died once yet, believe it or not. Or anybody else as far as that goes. They haven't died either. So, yeah, I don't know. It's because I've already been through it once and I kind of actually know what I'm doing now or what. But so far, so good. Other than, it's funny. Like today, I went to do the Toll House one where you find Karlach. And I figured out how to get in the vault.
Okay.
And I did all that. And I went to take and sell the extra shit to Damon at the Grove. And when I went to do that, I went to turn around to talk to Karlach. And instead of doing that, I accidentally picked up a mace, which caused me to be caught for stealing, which is not what I was trying to do.
Yeah, I do hate the caught stealing. A lot of games have that mechanic.
Right.
I mean, I
get
it on one hand, but just let me take it. Come on.
Right. I mean, because that wasn't what I was intending to do. I was trying to turn around to talk to her, and I hit the A button too quickly, and I picked up, I don't know, a set of gloves or something. So then, of course, Damon's pissed at me. And one other tiefling was standing there with a crossbow. She was like, you're going to be arrested. And I'm like, fuck, all that work. And I'm like, I can't do this. So I went back to an earlier save point. So now I've got to go back to the toll house and do the vault all over again and all that other shit. So, yeah. But I enjoyed it.
Use the save button.
I know, and I'm so bad about doing that because I'm used to, at games having the autosave, which this does too, but it's not very often.
Autosave actually is very dangerous for that kind of need.
Right.
Because autosave will screw you very easily.
Yeah.
Right. So,
they'll save you right before you die.
Right. Been there, done that. So yeah, I've got to go back and do that all again. But like I said, I like this game, so it doesn't really bother me. So that's where I'm at. Other games, I think, and some of the rest of us played it this week. I played some COD multiplayer, which is what we played Thursday. I think it went well. And, of course, we played Halo again this week. So,
yeah, we got the Halos and the CODs in. Some multiplayer action. It was a lot of fun. By the way, shout out to the chat. I don't think we've actually recognized. Lord was in there. Snoogans, I think, is still in there currently. I'm not positive. He's throwing disparaging comments my way. That's fine. I could take it, Snoogans. But yeah, and Snoogans, whenever we play with him, his auto aim bot is really appreciated. It absolutely lifts the team up. So
yeah,
okay.
Because when we play Halo, I'm terrible, but at least on COD, I redeemed myself and showed that I could play, first-person shooters halfway decently.
It was fun. It was a good return to COD. I hadn't played COD in a while, so I was excited.
I was tickled. So.
I think
anyway, that's it I'll spit it out. That's it for me this week. So next.
Speaking is a difficult thing, and we all face that challenge at times. It's a good thing we run a podcast.
Are you playing Baldur's Gate 3 on Xbox or PC, or you're on your Steam Deck, Kim?
I'm on the Xbox, but I have thought about picking it up on the Steam Deck.
You can put mods on it.
Yes, they don't have as many mods on the Xbox as they have for PC. But they do have quite a few.
Dabbled into mods. I've never put a mod on any game. Never looked into it.
The only thing is with mods, of course, is they don't let you earn achievements because you have mods.
Right.
Which is why I'm running my second playthrough without them just to see how far I get. Now, if I start dying a lot or something, then I might kick them on. But yeah, I don't know. I'm doing pretty good so far. So
all right,
I'm enjoying it. Obviously, go to my TikTok. You'll see it. So.
Go to Kim's TikTok for all the sex scenes.
Go to TikTok to see all about Gale.
Yeah, pretty much. Ask Mark. He knows.
Yeah.
Mark, what would you like to talk about first?
Avowed.
Okay.
So like a question or?
I didn't know how far to go back with all the games I've played since I was last on the show, so I thought we didn't have a space for like 8 hours. So, yeah, just recently, so I've played Avowed and I've completed Avowed.
Yeah.
Which has been rare for me to get into a game and complete it recently. I've always been like moving on and not finishing games, but I really enjoyed Avowed. I don't know why it got all the hate it got. I thought it was a great RPG.
Yeah, I think it's a solid RPG, and in fact, I like it I mean, obviously better than I like Dragon Age. Sorry, Kim.
Obviously.
Well, that's one of the games I haven't.
I like Baldur's Gate
finished.
more than I like Dragon Age, so it's okay.
I have
so-
deleted Dragon Age off my hard drive. I feel bad that I made Mark buy it.
Well, my poor Xbox and PS5 have hardly been on at all. It's been mainly all PC gaming. I played Avowed on PC through Game Pass because it's got the Ultimate. I have played a bit on the downstairs Xbox now and again when I just couldn't be bothered coming upstairs. And the difference is night and day between the Series S and the PC with the frame rates and graphics. Yeah, but yeah. I've become a bit of a what we call a PC wanker now. I just much prefer the mouse and keyboard from the controller. Even if you'd have asked me that 5-6 years ago, I'd have laughed at you. But yeah, it's just what you get used to, I think. So, but yeah, Avowed, it's a gorgeous looking game. Got a decent storyline, a lot of dialogue options, and they all have a consequence to your ending you get. Some really good missions, some nice locations. Each location you play in the game is totally different. Different enemies, different weapons you can pick up. Yeah, really, really enjoyed it. Really highly recommend it, especially if you've got Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean, look,
it, didn't you, Greg?
if it's Game Pass, if you have Game Pass and you like RPGs, this is a must play.
Yeah.
I absolutely, so I really enjoyed Avowed, still enjoying Avowed. I play this mostly third person. Mark, I know you played it mostly first person.
First person, yeah. I know you could play it in third person because I accidentally clicked the stick when I was on the Xbox downstairs and it went into third person and went, ooh, I'm not used to that. So yeah, I like first person. And I know Neil on the Seal podcast, he didn't even know you could go in third person.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I played mainly first.
Okay. All right.
And I tell you one thing, what did help me a lot in the game is there's a lot of switches and puzzles where you have to use electricity to operate it.
Yes.
Early in the game, I found a wand which had the shock ability, and that was so much easier to fire at these switches to open the doors. 'Cause otherwise, you have to get the electric grenade with lily seeds.
Yeah, so it's interesting you brought that up. Yeah. There's a lot of puzzles within the game that will require either a fire mechanic, a concussion mechanic, or electricity.
Yeah.
And the concussion just basically like being able to blow through walls.
Yeah.
What I did laugh a little bit though, because like, you know, I had a big old Warhammer. You couldn't crack through the wall with that. You had to use either a concussive grenade or a spell that would blow things up. Thank you, Mr. Matthew, for listing every game you've played over the last 10 years. Anyway, Avowed, really solid. Very much enjoying the playthrough. Check it out, especially if you like RPGs. Mark, what else?
They're all Game Pass games. These Sniper Elite Resistance, that's on Game Pass. I started that as a bit of a filling gap between Avowed and Atomfall, which I'll talk about next because that came out on Thursday. So yeah, Sniper Elite Resistance. I really enjoyed the older Sniper Elite games, 3 and 4. I don't think I've ever played 5. It's not. I don't know if that's still on Game Pass or not. 5. But yeah, Rebellion games again. Classic Sniper Elite with the X-ray shots when you get a headshot or a nut shot or a lung shot.
Yeah, and the game looks great.
Oh, it's amazing, yeah. And I think it's a smaller. This game is like a smaller, cut down version of a bigger Sniper Elite 4 and 5. The levels seem more compact and smaller, which I prefer, to be honest. It's open world as in that level. You can travel around the little town or wherever you were in, but it's a lot more compact than the main game. I immediately turned off invasions.
Yeah,
because I think they started that in 5, didn't 4 or 5?
They did.
Invaded. Oh, I don't want any of that shit.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a cool mechanic for those that want it. It allows other people to come into your game and play as the enemy, and hunt you down, so to speak. I mean, for a single player game, I want to be able to concentrate on the single player game, not have to worry about some. going to be nice. I'm going to say nice words. Some person coming into my game and messing about. But yeah.
Yeah, because I just stick them on Mark mode now, and that's easy mode for everyone else. I just stick them on easy mode and just enjoy the game. I don't want to be frustrated anymore. I'm too old for it. I don't want to be frustrated by hard, difficult levels, going over and over again on the same part of a game. I haven't got the time for it anymore. I just want to enjoy the game, get through it, and get on to the next. So yeah, Mark mode all the way.
Mark doesn't want to be frustrated anymore.
No.
Amen, Mark. Amen.
Frustration. Yeah.
It is
Yeah, and that brings me on to Atomfall, which came out on Thursday. Thursday was released straight onto Game Pass. This is a Fallout-esque RPG.
Who makes Atomfall? Is it Rebellion?
Rebellion again, yeah. So you can see the Sniper Elite characteristics of the character movement and the sneaking and the stealth. So, but this is a very close to home Northern England RPG. It's set in the Lake District, which is only a few miles away from where I am. All the characters, well, most of them got northern accents. It's just hilarious, the accents in it. It's really good. And this is also getting a lot of grief, but I really enjoyed it.
Well, a lot of people have had bug issues with the game.
Yeah, there's a few. I found a few character AI character. The enemies were a bit janky and get a bit stuck. But I've not had anything major. I know Filthy's had problems with it crashing on his Xbox.
Yeah.
Not had any of that, and I've played it on both Xbox and PC. But I think I'm 12 hours in now, and I'm not far off finishing it. Avowed, I think, took me 32 hours to complete. But yeah, Atomfall is not as big. But again, there's I think there's 4 different areas in that. Each one's different and unique with its enemies and environment. It is a gorgeous looking game. And it's the level, you don't level up in this. It's quite unique for an RPG. There's no leveling up. To level up your skills, you pick up training stims, and then you use them training stims to unlock different skills. So that's quite unique. What was I going to say? So yeah, so you don't level up as such. The story is really.
When you get older, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I lost my train
what
of
was I
thought
saying?
Yeah, the story is really good and intriguing, and that were it. So, do you know, like normally it'll give you a quest. You go to a character and it'll give you a quest, and then you'll find that on the map, and you'll go to the quest marker. It doesn't have any of that neither. All the quest lines in this you find from clues, not from people. You get a few from people, but not many. And it doesn't hold your hand as much as most RPGs, but it's a bit of a breath of fresh air. That it's a different way of doing it, and it's interesting. So you have to decipher the clues. It does put an icon on the map, but it doesn't do any like proper waypoints throughout. It just puts you in a general area, and you have to work out what you need to do. And I found that really interesting. It's not taxing or it doesn't tax your brain, and it's nothing too difficult. It can't be difficult if I've done it. So yeah.
Famous last words.
All right.
Like I said, I'm near the end of the game now. I've managed to get my weapon. You can upgrade your weapons to, we have rusty, stock, and then pristine. I've finally managed to get pristine weapons, and that makes a big difference. And there's some big robot dudes. They remind me of Big Daddies in BioShock. They're quite difficult to take down. They're quite fun to battle.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of different game mechanics in it, a lot of puzzles.
How punishing is the combat? Like, can you die quickly, or is it?
Yeah, even on easy, I'm on Mark mode, and I've died quite a lot of times, especially with the robots. And there's turrets in some areas where the turrets will like destroy you in seconds. And some of the robots, there's different robot types. One of them shoots fire, so it's like the robot guys in Helldivers, Chris. Once they shoot you with the fire, that's it. You are toast. So yeah, you last seconds if you're lucky. So I'm scared to. Well, I tried it originally on normal, and I thought, fuck this. I went straight to easy mode. But yeah, it's still a bit of a challenge. So, but I'm really enjoying it.
Okay, all right.
The story and how it all interlinks.
Yeah, it's on my kind of want to check out list.
Yeah.
But and my fear is now the games they're starting to roll out again. The list is going to get long.
And I know for a fact this will have multiple endings. I know it has because I've sneaked to look at the achievements.
Yeah, for some reason I didn't think Adamfall was an RPG. I don't know why.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it is. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, there's so many different paths you can go down as to where you want to go with it. Like it's all about this. There's this like nuclear power plant and it's gone awry, and there's something in the soil and it's affecting people, and some are infected and they become thralls and everything. It's really diverse in the way it does it. And you can either side with the military, you can side with the villagers, you can side with these tree huggers who think the soil should be preserved and it's all natural and they want to go away. Or there's this guy on this telephone. Every time you walk past, the red phone boxes in the UK,
right.
the old-fashioned red, they're everywhere. And every time you walk past one, it'll ring and you answer it. And there's this guy, and I swear to God, he sounds just like Jay from Joysticks and Chill. He's a dead ringer for Jay's voice. And he's telling you what to do, and don't trust anyone, and do this and do this. Because all in this central hub around all the different areas is this thing called the interchange. And it's all computerized, and this was the military base where it's now abandoned, and you get an access key to it. So I won't spoil it anymore, but yeah, it's really intriguing, it's clever, and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah,
right.
well worth it.
There we go. Adamfall. I'm going to have to check it out now. Speaking of things to check out, Mr. Matthew, you actually just erased the game I thought you were going to be talking about. So there's that.
Oh.
Star Wars Outlaws off the table. So what are we talking about?
It's still there.
I did not erase that. I'm not sure.
Oh, my bad.
Oh.
My bad.
That's might be time to go see the optometrist there.
It might be.
I was just going to say, if Greg was in the UK, there was a famous saying here, you should have gone to Specsavers.
Yeah. Actually, that was the first
Sitting
game
right
I was
here.
going to talk about. So I just yesterday finished the main quest line for Star Wars Outlaws. There's still some side quests to do, still jumping in here and there, and I've enjoyed it. And it got a bit of a bad rap early. I don't know if it got patched. I didn't play it until a few months later. I guess I will say, if you're not a Star Wars fan, it might not grab you right away. Okay. But as a fan of the Star Wars franchise, I was pulled in pretty quickly. The main character you play as is basically Jan Solo. If they were going to make a game out of Han Solo, it would have been this. But of course, you got to be real careful with those, original trilogy characters, and you got to, they're kind of sacrosanct. And so they made a new character, K-Vess, who's actually pretty cool. It definitely is that kind of follows that Ubisoft formula where there's some stealth gameplay, there's puzzle solving, there's lots of little things to go find and do. But what I think they really nailed with this game is the atmosphere. They used little bits of the original Star Wars score. There's some original music in there. When you go into Imperial facilities, it really looks like what the Imperial facilities look like in the movies. They really got that aesthetic just right. And it tells an interesting story. It takes a little bit from the Rogue One and the Disney Plus series Andor, and it kind of shows you that the rebels aren't necessarily always these shining beacons of
Goodness.
honor. They got to do things a little bit cutthroat in order to survive. And so, it's not really a spoiler. Right at the beginning of the game, you meet a Rebel Alliance cell, and you don't know that you're helping them out. You think that you're on this heist, and then things go bad, and they lock you up in this vault, and you kind of take the fall for this heist, so that the rebels can escape, right? And that's that's kind of the whole setup for the rest of the game. But yeah, it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable.
It looks like it captures the Star Wars, universe pretty darn well.
It does. There's ship to ship, so there's both ground, playing on the planets, and there's also some flying about in space. The ship to ship combat takes a little getting used to, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I will say, not necessarily something I'm going to play twice. It didn't seem like there were any decisions to make differently that would have really changed the outcome of the game in any meaningful way. You kind of have the 4 criminal factions that you're dealing with. You've met Crimson Dawn in the movies. You've met the Hutt Cartel in the movies. You've met the Pike Syndicate in the movies. I don't know that the Ashiga clan has ever been mentioned in the movies before, but those are kind of the 4 criminal syndicates, and you do jobs for all of them, and based upon how you do the jobs, your reputation with those syndicates goes up and down. But it's not hard to maintain a good reputation with all the syndicates. So again, not necessarily something that you have to go back and play again to get a different experience. But certainly worth the 30 or 40 so hours that I've put into it so far. And I'll go back and clean up some side quests. Yeah.
I was going to say, and likely you probably can find this on sale now. So there's that.
I think I bought it on sale. I'm pretty sure I bought it on sale. Yeah, during one of the last Steam sales. Yep. Worth checking out. Worth checking out, in my opinion. The game that's taken most of my time lately has been Helldivers 2. Again, I'm kind of a late adopter to Helldivers 2. A friend of mine at work actually was playing it and said, "Hey, me and some friends are playing this Helldivers 2. You want to jump in?" I was like, "Yeah, man, why not?" And it's really good. It's really good. I don't know how many. I know Mark's played it. Mark and I have played together a bit. We keep telling Kim that Democracy needs her, but she's, her and Pookie are too busy, I guess, to come save Democracy. Yeah, I don't. So I don't know. What do you think, Mark? What do you think? Helldivers 2.
Yeah, well, I've not played it for a few weeks, but yeah, I love it, me. I keep trying to get my lad to play more, but he's gone off it. He's said he's bored of it. I love it. I love it. I love everything about it. I love the stratagems where you do them. It's quite unique. So when you want to call in like an airstrike, you have to press in a certain sequence of the keys, or you're on the controller or the keyboard. And if you get it wrong, it cocks it up. You have to start again. But all this while you're under pressure from all the swarms of enemies. The enemies are great. You've got different areas, different planets. So you've got the Starship Trooper type bugs, then you've got robots on another one, and then there's a newish race enemy, which are like weird. They're like a zombie type thing, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like you've got that newish faction. They make some thralls out of the local population, and then
there's some big dudes with some like special blue weapons.
But it's I've been playing that one. It's become my new daily grind, if you will. They do every day. There's a daily challenge. It's usually pretty straightforward. Kill this many enemies with this type of weapon, or do this type of thing this many times. But it gives you some credits that you can use to unlock new weapons, new armor, new airstrikes and orbital strikes and turrets and all that kind of stuff. And on the higher difficulties, it goes from 1 to 7, 1 to 10. It goes from 1 to 10 on the difficulties. I've been playing on difficulty 7 because that's the minimum difficulty to get like the super rare currency that you have to find in order to upgrade your ship. So that's why I've been playing on difficulty 7. And it is it gets pretty intense. It gets pretty. I mean, it's a game. You're not in any real danger, but
but there is friendly fire.
There is friendly fire, and it is unforgiving. It is unforgiving. Yeah. I was playing a couple days ago, and we were playing in one of the crowded urban maps. And one of my teammates comes running around the corner, and I just shot him straight in the face because I was surrounded. I was like, "Oops!" Luckily, it has a pretty robust, it has a pretty robust, like, defense system. So communication system using emotes and tags and things. So not a lot of people use the microphone, but there's the game has a pretty good system where you can communicate with each other without it. And so one of the more common emotes that you'll hear is you can emote "I'm sorry," and your character will actually say "I'm sorry," and that happens quite a lot because there's quite a lot of team kills going on intentionally or unintentionally. Because when you throw the orbital bombardments, sometimes they cover a lot bigger area than you think they're going to cover. And I've taken myself out with my own orbital bombardment several times. I've taken out lots of teammates on accident, sometimes on purpose. But yeah, it's
what
great
I found
fun.
funny was like with these aerial bombardments, what Chris is on about. The first time, so I didn't know you could do this. I was about to throw one, and I got shot, and I sort of like I think I don't know if I died or if I got downed, but you drop your tag thing, what the flare, what brings in the bombardment. So I'm with all my teammates, and all of a sudden the bombardment comes on my dead body and wipes out the whole team.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that happened.
Feels
So it was
slightly
hilarious.
reminiscent of taking a car into a bus
Yeah,
stop.
it's like someone on PUBG driving all these teammates across the country and then driving into a bus stop and turning us all into a ball of flames, Greg.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Something like that. So the devs have this, they call it the Galactic War. So when you first go to the game, you go to your map. There's kind of three fronts. There's as Mark mentioned, there's the bot front, the bug front, and the illuminate or the squid front, denoted by their different colors, red, yellow, and pink. And they will. The game devs will launch attacks on planets that Super Earth controls. You defend this fictional planet called Super Earth that has Mars orbiting Super Earth. You know, it's not in any way poking fun at American imperialism, but it might be. And then so the devs will launch attacks on Super Earth controlled planets, and they'll issue orders to the community like go liberate this planet or go do this, go do that. And it's usually some ridiculous task like kill 1 billion enemies in this one type. But if the community achieves it, then you get a whole bunch of in-game currency to spend on your equipment. So I usually, whenever I jump in, I try to go support that. It's called a major order. Yeah,
I've got quite a lot of medals from them. They're really good.
Yeah,
and it's surprising if all the community dives in on that. It's surprising how quick that can rack up. They're a week long or something, 4 or 5 days long.
Yeah, something like that. And some of them can finish early. Some of them, like the current one, is the major order is to hold this one planet, and so for the duration of the major order, you have to make sure that one planet doesn't get conquered. So that one will take the whole time. Others can go faster if it's like liberate this planet, and everybody jumps on it. It can go pretty quick, right? But for what is really a pretty simple game, it's got a lot of replayability. You know, every map is procedurally generated, so you never get the same map twice. Yeah. And you get a quest marker for your main objectives, but there's always some side objectives that you have to go find on your own. And there are enough. It's not a game where you can get one type of weapon that will deal with every enemy. You kind of have to have a way to deal with, we deal with the chaff, deal with the medium armored enemies, and deal with the heavy armored enemies. And if you don't have a way to deal with all of them, you're going to struggle. And so teamwork becomes really important.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah.
Helldivers 2.
Get in there. Democracy needs you.
Democracy needs you.
It's great fun. It's great fun.
I think more or less the rest of the games on your list.
Yeah, we talked about all those. Although I do have to make my impassioned plea for everyone to give Fallout 76 a second chance. I jumped on Fallout 76 in 2019 with because it came for free with my Xbox One, and I'm also a huge fan of the Fallout universe. And I didn't like it. I hadn't even gotten out of the vault yet, and another player was trying to attack me, and I was like, I I don't like this. About a year later, I jumped back in. The Bethesda has really stuck with it and continued to update it and made a really good product. And I still like to jump in every now and again. It can be a lot of fun. So it's very much player versus environment. There is player versus player, but almost nobody does it because it's kind of broken. That's the one aspect of the game that they haven't fixed.
Maybe that's the one aspect of the game they kind of realized didn't work. And so they're like,
people didn't really want it. Yeah, they just kind of left it. I'd love to talk Baldur's Gate 3 with Kim, but that would be a total other show. So yeah,
we'll save that for next time.
Yeah.
I've actually bought this under pressure from Kim as well.
I have it on my Steam Deck. Amazingly enough,
Steam Deck that you forgot about.
Yes,
Yeah, right.
but I see real fast. I do see your third try. So you haven't got on with this game.
No, I have. That's the thing.
Right.
I started a game. I didn't like the way it was kind of going, so I started over. I chalk that up to I'm learning how the game goes.
Right.
And then I started a second character that I played all the way. I got to about halfway through the third act. And then I started playing some other games for a while. So I kind of left it. And then they did some patches and some of the mods that I had weren't working anymore. And it was a little janky. So I was like, whatever. I'll just start again. So I started a third campaign that I'm going to try to play through without mods.
Good luck.
And well,
although you're probably going to be better at it than I am. So yeah.
I don't know if better at it. I've spent more time with it. And so I've gotten pretty good at making each individual member of my 4-person squad strong. I haven't gotten very good at making them synergize with each other.
Yeah.
So that's the next step. That's the next step.
And there is a patch 8 coming with new subclasses and stuff apparently. So
yeah, more to learn.
Exactly.
I also have a D&D group that meets in person monthly. So this is basically a Dungeons and Dragons game. So if you kind of have an understanding of the rule set, it makes it a little bit less daunting.
Right.
Yeah. And I wouldn't even say basically. I mean, this is a D&D game. I mean, you get the dice rolls on screen, the whole 9 yards. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's me.
Okay. I'm going to keep myself brief. I know it's shocking.
That's a shock.
So Halo COD, we already talked about. We played through that. Nobody needs to see that. Space Marine 2, I did finish the game finally.
Yay!
Very much enjoyed my time with Space Marine 2.
Now we need to do some multiplayer at some point.
I think I actually might like the multiplayer even better than the final of Space Marine 2. The final battle to me wasn't great. There was a lot of cutscenes and a lot of story stuff, and honestly, the entirety of the Warhammer 40K storyline, I don't care. It's just lost on me. Now, that said, I started playing Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader.
And how's that going?
So, and the reason why this intrigued me, it's
just more of a card game.
XCOM like. This is on Game Pass. This is a.
I've seen it on the Game Pass screen.
Yeah, isometric, XCOM like combat tactics, turn based. It's my jam. So I was very excited for this game, and then of course I started playing Space Marine 2, and the story and all of the nuance of the 40K universe is just lost on me. And I'm just going to tell you right now, this game has a lot of that in it, like a lot. And I'm not there for it. The combat so far has been fun. It's not as good as XCOM. And so that's my gold standard. So there's I don't know how long I'm going to stick with this game. But there are levels to this game that they intrigue me. So you not only have your squad, and they're named characters basically that you pick up. So it's not like XCOM where you just have a bunch of kind of like soldiers that you kind of bring up through the ranks. These are a lot of named characters that you will encounter. You'll get them to join your squad. And then, much like XCOM, you kit them out. You can upgrade their weapons, that kind of thing. You also have a ship. You are a rogue trader. So you have this ship that you are also in charge of that has, kind of all the trappings of maintaining a ship. So that there's a little bit of me that's like, maybe I'll try and stick with this for a while and just see where it goes. But the thing I struggle with really the most is the story of getting through, because unfortunately this game, while it does have voice acting, it's all within prompts of dialogue boxes. So they're reading through the dialogue box back to you, which I can read faster than they're speaking it. So I tend to start cutting through the dialogue boxes. But also, I just don't understand Space Marine lore.
Right. It is a lot.
It is.
I tried reading the books, and
Yeah, I would. No, check me out. You asked me to read through a book. Ain't doing it. It's hard enough reading through this game. I will say this. I finally understand what the stupid metal things they stick in their heads are all about. So if you're not familiar with Space Marine, the whole 40K universe, a lot of the characters have just this. I don't want to say it's goth-like. It's more like self-mutilation. Like you see these people with it looks like they have like nails in their head, like Titus from Space Marine 2. It looks like he has like 4 nails stuck in his skull. Well, apparently these are augments. I never realized this up until Rogue Trader, because when you're building your character out, you can create augments for your face and your body. Now, granted, they don't really do anything in the game, but supposedly they have a function in life within the 40K universe. But yeah, so I'm very mid on this game right now. There's parts of it that I really enjoy. There's parts of it that I'm just, and I think a large part of it is because I just don't really think I like the 40K universe enough to care about all these lore choices. Because this game does, similar to other RPGs, you have decisions to make and they will have impact on your characters and their interactions, as well as I'm assuming the end of the game in terms of kind of the long-term goals. But we'll see. I'll report back. I'm going to continue to play through it. I'm enjoying parts of it enough. It's got some hooks in me, just not full on. I think if the dialogue stuff was a little bit less, I probably would enjoy this more. But the dialogue cutscenes come up and they're just heavy context text dialogue windows, and it's like, I just want to get through this and kind of move on to the next area.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think you very much have to be a tactics person to like this game, and importantly, you need to be a 40K person to like this game. Yeah. But there's enough of them out there. Lots of people love the 40K universe. So anyway, but yeah, so that's been my main playthrough this week. I've tabled Avowed. I pretty much, outside of the multiplayer stuff we did, that's been it. 40K. Yeah. Space Marines. Who would have thought?
Yeah. Told you.
Now look. We've gone pretty long in the show, but I'm not going to let this moment go by without saying...
All right, now everybody get settled. Get away from the windows. Now look, good. It's time for the quiz. Yeah, you know what? Oh, too bad. Tough.
All right, kids. Here we go. Metacritic Madness Quiz. I hope you're ready. Hope you're strapped in. Theming things here. I thought, well, since we have Mark and Christopher Matthew on the show, it's like, okay, let's go back in time, way back to around when the podcast started. So that was a challenge, though, because I thought, well, how far back did the podcast go? We started the podcast technically after the 360 had started. So I was like, okay, well, let me just do some math. 826 shows, 29 shows. Divide that by 52 weeks. We start getting to the year. So roughly 16 to 17 years back.
Holy
That's
moly.
where we're going. So I brought us back to 2008. So get your mindset ready. 2008. And each of you.
Last week, I have no chance for 2008.
I will let each one of you will take turns on who goes first. It's going to go kind of in a clockwise motion for me. So we're going to start with Mark. So the first game up,
Good luck, Mark.
Battlefield Bad Company for the Xbox 360 came out.
1 or 2? First one.
First one.
We had some fun with Battlefield Bad Company.
Yeah.
One of the characters was called Sweet, wasn't it? The funny one.
Now, Mark, what do you think the Metacritic score was for Battlefield Bad Company on the Xbox 360?
Well, we loved it, but it's what the critics thought of it.
Indeed.
But I'm still going to rate it highly. It had a great story, some really good characters, very funny, a lot of humour in it. It had the destruction, it had the vehicles. 86.
Mark's going with an 86. Mr. Matthew, you are up next. What do you think Battlefield Bad Company got? You can Price is Right, Mark, on this, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like it was, we really liked it. The critics liked it less. So I'm going to go with 80.
Okay. Kim, you've got choices in front of you now. What do you think Battlefield Bad Company got for the Xbox 360 back in the day?
84.
Kim's going with an 84. Not 840, 84. Well, Kim, we're in, we're not going to beat around the bush here, Kim. You're schooling the boys here. It was an 83.
Oof.
Oh, well done, Kim.
Well done, Kim. Well done. Mark and Mr. Matthew both were 3 off.
Well, 3 points off, yeah.
So not bad.
Close.
Not bad.
I mean,
It's a good start.
Right.
All right. So now we're going to go, like I said, clockwise. So, Mr. Matthew, you are up next. Your game, and an important context, is the platform. I will just put that out there.
Okay.
Call of Duty World at War on the Wii launched.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, that's cruel.
What did Call of
I thought you were
Duty
going to say PS3
World at
then.
War for the Wii score?
Didn't even realize that come out on the Wii. Jesus.
Yeah. I feel like that's not gonna, the hardware wasn't great, the controller was not great. I feel like that's not gonna score great. So I'm gonna go with 73.
All right,
That's higher
73.
than I thought.
Kim.
I was going to say, that's higher than I would have went.
Yeah.
Kim, what's your score for Call of Duty on the Wii? World at War, mind you.
Yeah, I'm going to go, I'm going to go lower than, 70 something. Honestly, I'm going to go like 40.
40. Whoa.
Well, I mean,
all right.
It's probably awful, but
That would be an awful score. I will say that right now. And it's possible. We're talking to Wii here.
Right,
Who knows?
We've seen it before.
It could have been a gem, though. Mark, what do you think? Call of Duty World at War on the Wii.
Well, I'm going to stick to my gut. My instant reaction was 58. I'm going to stick with that. 58.
58. Okay. Well, now, in a surprising turn of events, Mr. Matthew not far off, but also still pretty far off.
All right.
It was an 83.
What?
83 on the
That
Wii.
is shocking.
Yeah,
It is
It
shocking.
is, to be fair. Holy
It
moly.
is indeed shocking.
That's all right. I'll take the
Wow.
loss. I don't care. That's just,
All right. This will now
into
take us
that.
to Kim.
Mhm.
Kim, you are up first on this one.
Okay.
So back with the Xbox 360, there was the Xbox Arcade, Xbox Live Arcade platform,
Yep.
and a famous game, Braid, was announced.
Oh, yep.
Came out. What did Braid score?
85.
All right. Mark, you are up next. What do you think Braid got
Right.
on the
So this
Xbox
was
360 Arcade?
This was the puzzle game, wasn't it? I never played it, but I know the critics loved this. It was the indie darling at the time, wasn't it? So
I think so, yeah.
I'd say 88.
88. And Mr. Matthew, where do you think Braid came in at?
I agree with Mark. I know the critics loved this. There were a few members of the old 035s that really liked this one as well. So I'm gonna go 91.
All right. Mr. Matthew showing his chops. It was at 93. This actually was up for Game of the Year for a lot of outlets. So there we go.
Yeah.
93. All right. Bonus. Who doesn't love a bonus?
Ooh, bonus round.
Bonus
Love the
round. Here we go. We will start with Mark. Mark, a game came out on the Xbox 360 that yours truly absolutely wanted to love.
Yeah.
And I say wanted to love because I was disappointed that it ended on a cliffhanger and we never got the sequel. And of course, you should be thinking to yourself, well, what game could that be? Of course, it was Too Human on the Xbox 360. So, Mark, what did Too Human get as a Metacritic score?
Was this Remedy?
This was Silicon Knights.
Silicon Knights, right?
Who are now defunct and out of business, but,
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with this game.
I remember the game, but I never played it. I know didn't it have a lot? I'm sure a lot of people slated this.
Yeah. The combat was all on two sticks.
I think you were quite rare in that you enjoyed it.
I feel like that's slander.
Oh, God. Well, I'm having a shocking night, so I might as well just go for it. 70.
All right. 70 for Mark. Locked in. Mr. Matthew, Too Human. What do you think it scored?
So I'm afraid you have me at a disadvantage because I don't remember this game at all. Which is going to put me in a hedging my bets at 75.
Okay. Kim?
78.
Oh, tactical from Kim.
Very tactical for Kim. She should have gone the other direction, though. She should have priced righted Mark under. It was a 65.
I didn't think it was that bad. Holy moly.
I didn't think it was that bad either. Brings a tear to my eye.
I think you might be the only one.
Yeah. Pretty much. There we go.
So
That's
right,
Metacritic Madness. Well done, everybody. Just by visual, I think Mr. Matthew took this.
Yeah, that second one.
Well, yeah, because
we were like 40 points off.
Yeah.
Kim gave us a break. She knew the answer to the second one. She was like, I'm going to go way over here. I made him look bad on the first one. So
I've been winning all these weeks anyway. So
I'm going to say she's won every week for God knows how long. Mind you, she has been the only contestant, so.
Yeah, that's why we're starting anew. We'll
Oh, yeah, it is.
We're not going to count all of the
apparently.
I'm against the world, me, myself, and I situations. Well done, though, the three of you. Outside of World at War.
Say we're not coming back, or?
All right. Let's keep things moving along.
Here is the fucking news.
I don't know why, but whenever I hear that, I always think of Stu from the Veteran Gamers. I don't know. I don't know why. All right. This week we had a Nintendo Direct.
We did.
They had a lot of games announced.
Did we?
I'm going to read through them. If there's any that intrigue you, feel free to stop me, but there's a lot here.
Okay.
Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD Remake. No Sleep for a Konami date. I don't know. I literally, some of these names, Kim, you go through this all the time. Who knows?
That's the most Nintendo
yeah.
name that you probably have ever read.
Well, just hold on. Raydu Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army.
Oh, well, there you go.
Shadow Labyrinth. Patapon 1 and 2 replay. Story of Seasons, Grand Bazaar. Probably the only game I actually gave a lick about in this announcement. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was announced. Disney.
Yeah, but she can open doors now, right?
Yes, she can open doors with mystery powers from aliens. There we go. Disney Villains Cursed Cafe.
Oh boy.
Witchbrook. The Eternal Life of Goldman. Gradius Origins. Rise of the Necromancer. Rise of the Necrodancer.
Rift.
I liked Rise better. Rise.
I know.
Rise better.
Makes
Rise of
more
the
sense to me there.
Necrodancer. But it's Necro. Okay, so one Rift of the Necromancer would have made far more sense to me out of all of this. But Necrodancer. Is this Mr. Matthew having fun? I feel like it should be, but it's probably not. It's probably just the real title. Tamaguchi Plaza. Pokemon Legends Z to A. Rhythm Heaven Groove. High on Life. Star Overdrive. The Wandering Village. King of Meat. King of Meat.
That sounds like a Kim game. It sounds
Totally.
quality.
Lose
Right,
Lagoon.
anyway.
Okay. Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time.
Okay.
Saga Frontier 2 Remaster. Monument Valley and Monument Valley 2. I'm assuming these might be coming out to like the Nintendo store or something. Monument Valley 3. Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. And last, but certainly not least, Tamagotchi Life, Living the Dream. So all of that, all of those announcements, and I'm still no closer to wanting to buy a Wii or Switch, not a Wii. I just feel like Nintendo's just not for me anymore. I don't know. There's just nothing. None of those announcements excite me.
Right.
This is not a Nintendo crew.
No.
I've
it really
never
isn't.
owned a Nintendo at all anyway. So,
Mr. Matthew,
never grabbed me.
I want you to read this next story because you were the one that pulled this. I thought this was an intriguing story. So,
Okay. So I'll try to read the top line here. So Netflix's president of games, Alan Taskin, is expecting a future generation, easy for me to say, that relies less on gaming consoles as major players like Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo push forward with new hardware. The lead of the streaming giant's video game division shared his thoughts on how gaming fans might soon play their favorite titles in an interview with the game business that took place following a Netflix presentation in San Francisco. During the event, Taskin was asked if the streamer had any intention of taking a crack at console gaming, but he's not so sure younger gamers are even interested in something like a PlayStation 6. What something like a PlayStation 6 could bring to the tables. The quote was, 6-year-olds aren't dreaming of a PlayStation 6. And I this one caught my eye because I know we've talked about it in the past. It seems like we've been talking about this forever. You know, our console's dead. You know, what's going to replace consoles? But here we are. We're 2 Xboxes later and 2 PlayStations later and countless dollars in PC parts later, and we're all still going for the high end hardware. So I don't know. What do we think?
you know, I mean, I think hardware in general is going to be transformative moving forward. I do think cloud is going to play a big part of this, and being able to stream games is going to have a major impact. I think we're still going to have the diehards that want their hardware, that want to feel like they own it, even though we all know the truth is none of us own these games, regardless if you have a disc or not. It's a license that you're getting to play the game. So how I play, as long as it plays smoothly, I really don't care. That's just my thinking. So I'm not tied to having a hardware console per se, although I mean I'm used to the hardware component to it. So there's the familiarity there.
I think that's my big concern. I've tried to use Xbox's cloud gaming to try out a game, or if I'm on the road, or I'm using my laptop, which doesn't have the hardware to run a game, and it's been really hit and miss. Sometimes I'll stare at that little loading screen for 5 minutes, and then it'll say, "Oh, sorry, it didn't work." And that's kind of the frustrating thing for me. I agree with you. If the streaming and cloud gaming offers a smooth user experience, then I'm on board. But right now it doesn't. There's too much latency in the control input. It takes too long to get into a game. All those kind of things.
Yeah. Mark, Kim, any thoughts?
I think that Microsoft are going to go like Sega, and I think they're going to pull out of hardware and just concentrate on development, because they're practically doing that now, aren't they? They're now on PlayStation. They're moving a lot of their stuff onto PC as well. I don't think we might see another Xbox iteration, but I think that'll be the last one. Whereas Sony, I think, is opposite. I think they want the hardware. They need the hardware sales. But yeah, I think Microsoft's going to go a complete software route. So I don't know. But for me personally, I'm not bothered about consoles anymore. I'm hooked in the PC life, so I can play everything on the PC, what's on console. So I'm happy.
But what if your PC experience is shifting?
Right.
What if it becomes a more of a streaming like experience where you don't necessarily need your PC to stream it?
I don't think it will. The infrastructure isn't there for everybody, is it? In the major cities and that, everyone's got high-speed broadband. Like most of us have got high-speed broadband. But in rural areas, you ain't got that. It's not going to work. So you're going to alienate half your audience. So I think that's a long way off yet, to be honest. I don't know.
I think also as games just keep getting bigger. I was joking around earlier this week. Black Ops 6 was a 300 gigabyte download, massive. Right? Like they should just give you a hard drive with it. Like here you go.
Right.
It should come on a hard drive. Yeah.
Right. And they'd actually probably sell more of them if they made like a special Black Ops 6 hard drive. Yeah. But as games continue to get bigger, right? They used to be on floppy disks, and then they were on CDs, and then they were on DVDs and Blu-rays, and now we have hundreds of gigabytes downloads for each game. I think pushing all of that over even the high-speed connection. I have a 1 gig connection, which is no longer the fastest, but it's not bad. Right. Even that struggles with streaming games sometimes.
Yep.
And on top of it's okay streaming a single player game, but if you're streaming, say, Black Ops 6, you need that two-way thing. So you need a really good upload as well as a good download. And the latency and the lag is, for a competitive multiplayer, I don't think the technology's there yet.
Yeah. I don't disagree with what you're saying there. I think it is still probably a few years away from it being like viable for your main. I mean, look, Google Stadia was not a bad experience. They just were not vested in what they needed to do to make it a viable platform. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I will say this. I think within 10 years, the notion of gaming on hardware is going to be far less. It's going to be streaming into a platform.
I bet if we went back in the archives 10 years ago, you probably said that on the show.
Could very well be. I do remember when was it True Live was coming up. Yeah. I mean, it does feel like this is the direction the industry is pushing towards.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We shall see. Okay, other news. Ubisoft and Tencent unveil a new subsidiary for Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. So the new subsidiary will be based on the Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six brands, and will be backed by greater investment and boosted creativity capabilities in an attempt to push the series forward. So this basically is Ubisoft saying we need more money. The subsidiary is valued to be around 4 billion euro, and it's Tencent that is investing 1.16 billion euro to gain a monthly stake of around 25% in the subsidiary. So what exactly this means for fans of the series remains to be seen. But obviously, this investment from Tencent likely gives it a degree of influence over the future direction of Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six games. So that's an interesting thing. Tencent getting in bed with Ubisoft. 25% is not a small stake. At that point, you've got a voice at the table. I will be curious to see kind of where this goes. If in fact it really changes the trajectory for Ubisoft, or if they stay the course of kind of doing what they've been doing. And then last little story. Tony Hawk explains controversial Pro Skater 3 and 4 soundtrack changes. It was my choice, apparently. So this week, Activision revealed the next wave of tracks for the upcoming remaster, and many fans were quick to point out that notable absences from the original game, the likes of Iron Maiden and Alien Ant Farm. Commenting on Instagram, Tony Hawk claimed that he personally decided to introduce a mix of new and classic tracks for Pro Skater 3 and 4, stating that he hoped players would enjoy discovering new music as with the original games. It was my choice to pick something different, some different songs by the same artist featured in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 OST. He wrote, "I'm hoping that discovery is half the fun and a big reason that these soundtracks resonated in the first place. So listen and enjoy the ride. More to come, both old and new." I thought that was appropriate for our show because old and new.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
What's old is new again.
Exactly. All right, Kim.
Yep.
Let's get into some new releases.
Alrighty. New releases for April 1st to the 6th, because, April's just right around the corner. We have Nif Nif for the Switch and PC, April 1st. I don't assume that's an April Fool's joke, but who knows. Crocs, Legend of the Gobos, the PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, PC on April 2nd. Elroy and the Aliens for the PC on April 2nd. I don't know if that's Elroy Jetson or just some other Elroy, but here we are. I guess we'll find out on the 2nd. Steel Hunters for the PC, also on April 2nd. Detective Dotson for the PC, April 3rd. A lot of PC this time around. Jin and Jan for the PC, April 3rd. And I'm starting to wonder what the names, if they're not all made by the same fucking, developer, but whatever. Echo Beach for the PC. I mean, like I said, it's all pretty much PC this week. Echo Beach, for Pete's sake, the cat is annoying me, for the PC on April 4th. And last but not least, Peppered for the PC on April 4th. And those are your new releases. So, come on, Mario, for God's sake.
I can't believe it's still making Xbox One and PS4 games.
I mean, it's still a thing.
Because PS5 and Series S and X have been out, 3 or 4 years now?
They have. Well, actually, more than just 3 or 4 years.
Have they?
Yeah. But, I mean, PS4 still has a massive fan base. I mean, even Sony has made some of their games compatible for PS4. So, I mean, although I do think this is probably the final year we see PS4 being supported. I think that the next Call of Duty will support PS4, but after that, I bet it goes away.
Yeah.
Mr. Matthew, Steel Hunters. I think this is a sub game. Feels like this should be a game that you would be into. I don't know why.
I'm about to check it out. I haven't heard of it.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's a submarine game. It sounds like a submarine game.
So
free to play PvP and PvE shooter
actually,
with futuristic mechs.
Oh, this is like a U game, Greg.
Damn,
Yeah,
I'm totally off. I'm going to be playing some Steel Hunters.
And there's
developers war game in which to battle the warships and the thunder. Is it the thunder thing? The
Yeah, he sold a Thunder.
War Thunder.
I mean, I like mechs, but I think you like mechs more. Yeah,
I do like some mechs.
It's free to play. You got to get your Steam Deck out. Find wherever you
All right.
You know, maybe it'll be in your Easter basket. And, there you go.
All right. We're at that time. We're gonna wrap this show up. We've been talking. This is probably the longest podcast we've had in over a year.
Right.
So well done, all of you. We've got some play dates. So I will say this now. Tuesday, Thursday for me, I will be attempting to, but new job starting. Don't know how that will all play out, but that is the goal, will be to maintain our Tuesday, Thursday play dates. This Tuesday in particular, probably going to be not on the calendar for me, only because that is literally my first day starting with a new job. So I'll be in a lot of meetings, I have a feeling. Beyond that, Kim will be on. Mr. Matthew will be on. Mark might even be on. I've seen him around, lurking in the shadows.
I joined the chat on Thursday.
He did. It was so close to joining the game. It was like...
We tried.
Yeah.
But Atomfall had just released, so I was playing Atomfall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We did
And
utilize
Dark Call of Duty
Discord.
installed.
It was the future.
We were in the future.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which makes crossplay, by the way, very, very doable, especially for Call of Duty. So if you have friends that are playing on the PlayStation, like Sarah, she can join in. Just use Discord. The chat works perfectly fine. Anything else you guys want to highlight for like next week play dates? Anything like that? Silence is golden. Good. Okay.
No. I mean,
All right, let's do some shout outs. Let's get out of here. We'll start with Mr. Matthew first. I am assuming you're going to be shouting out your superiors for allowing you to come back to the podcast.
I'm gonna shout them out. None of them listen to it, so they won't hear this. But I just want to shout out Greg DeLacy and the crew. As Greg pointed out, what did we just say? 16 years of podcasting.
It's been a hot minute.
And there has been a cast of characters come on and off this show, but the rock is Tank Top Biceps DeLacy himself that's been holding it all together. So well done, Greg, and Mark. It's great to see you back, and Kim, it's great to meet you again. And just kind of shout out to everybody. You can find me as OC_CP Matthew or OC space CP Matthew. Unless you're on Steam, and then it's they still call me Moose, which is a very obscure movie reference. And if any of you can figure out what it is, I'll buy you a beverage of your choice. Mark, who do you got?
I want to shout out you guys, particularly Greg, for having me back again, because I think I've left not left, but taken sabbaticals a few times now. And it's Mother's Day in the UK, so a massive happy Mother's Day to all the UK mums.
Oh,
indeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Kim?
Alrighty, I'm gonna shout out our shatters. We've had a few. I don't want to forget anybody, so I got a list here. Not that there was that many, I guess. But I'm getting old, and Anyway, we've got Lord and Snoogans in the chat this week. So Boomer wasn't here because I knew he wouldn't be here because he had a family thing to go to. So I'll cut him a little slack this time. Anyway, shout out to you guys. CP, welcome back. I didn't get to see you the first go around, so this is nice. I love the rest of you. You know that. So everybody have a good week this week, and I'm gonna turn you over to Tank Top. Yeah, I'm still calling him Tank Top. Fuck it.
Hey, I am embracing that nickname. I'm okay with it.
Alrighty.
Shout out to the three of you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for making Sundays fun. We will be back next week, just like we do every time. We will come back. We will talk games. We'll do it all next Sunday, same time. Maybe same cast of characters. Maybe a different mix. I don't know. I don't know if I have to explore a 5-screen box now. I might have to. We'll see. Or at that point, I'll probably delegate it to Mark. That's what I do. When it gets difficult, give it to somebody else.
Right.
This is the laws of command, right? Right, Mr. Matthew?
That's right. You got to work yourself out of a job. That's what we do.
All right. On that note, thank you, everybody. Come back next week. By the way, like, subscribe, do the things the kids do. Smash the like button.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.